Hello, welcome back. It's been a while. If you know why, if you want to know why, you can watch my previous video. But I had a loss in the family, so that's why it took me a while. But I have been keeping track of what I've been reading, despite everything. So this will be in May, June, and July. So I read most of these while I was in the hospital with said person. But yeah. So first I read JoJo's. I believe I read 2 or 3 volumes. Let me take a look. I think I read volumes 3 and 4. Getting closer to halfway through the series. I feel like I've watched the anime, so it feels nearing the halfway point. Read some Hunter x Hunter. This was kind of some build up from things I had gotten from my birthday. So I read sorry for saying a lot. I didn't really plan what I was going to say. I read about 3 volumes of Hunter x Hunter. The tower, the fighting tower, where Gon and Killua are learning from the karate guy, and where Kurapika is in Yorpinu City. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah. Peak art, peak story. Recently, I've heard Togashi is suffering, like, his back problems have gotten worse again, so yeah. Next up, Go-Go Loser Ranger. I read, again, I'm not entirely sure, I believe I read volumes 8 and 9. And it's hard to find panels for these, because I read them physically, so I would have to, like, I'm sure there are websites, but I just, this isn't really spoiler-esque material. But I always look forward to the volumes of this that come out. It's one of my favorites for sure. Especially a certain character made an appearance again, and my guy is roughed up. He is, like, he's awesome. I mean, the whole thing is an awesome concept if you really look at it. But I know it's not for everyone, but obviously if you've been reading or watching my videos, the series is like if the Power Rangers go evil, and then are frauds and whatnot. Finally, an arc ended, or a big battle ended, and that was awesome. I don't know how far along the anime is, 'cause I just don't watch it, but I know some of these battles, if they're animated right, it'll be perfection. This Blood on the Tracks, I read 2 volumes. Made a lot of progress. And by progress, I mean we learn more about the mother's backstory and whatnot. And when you learn that, I mean, I understand. Obviously before we knew she was messed up, we didn't know why. It kind of gave us some light on that about why she is the way she is. I read volumes. It might have been 3, but I believe it was just 2, 15 and 16. It's getting up there in numbers. I'll be honest, I don't know where the story could go. Like, it's kind of just like, it's not predictable. It has you on the edge of your seat. You're wanting the next volumes to come out, or if you're keeping up with it and you're reading online, then you want the next chapter to come out. It's so good. And this is a panel from, it depicts, someone having a breakdown and everything, like distortion. It kind of has its charm about it. Like, it's intentional. It's so many praises for Shuzo Oshimi and his works. I believe Welcome Back, Alice is over. I could be wrong. I haven't looked into that lately, but next up, Blue Period. Finally, a volume came out. Long-awaited volume number 14. I cannot get enough. We learned some backstory about a certain artist that was mentioned. I looked into the anime. The anime is like it rearing up on the manga's end. It's like the anime goes up to like volume 8, 7, like 9 to 7, I think. It's very close. It's covered a lot of the material already. I don't know how that works. If the studios go by volumes that are out and they're like, okay, let's adapt from this volume to this volume, or if they just go chapter by chapter. But some of the chapters are really like, manga-wise, they're stretched out. So I can see how they fit all that material into like, 10 episodes? It makes sense, because each volume is like four chapters or so. I love the series. I haven't forgotten about I was going to show off some art I did, but I just haven't gotten around to it. Next up. This was a big one. This was one this was a tough one, because a lot happens in this. And I finished it. I got all the volumes. Well, the rest of what I didn't have, which was like, I'm trying to find where I have it in my notes. I totally didn't forget the name. It's been a while. And it's called Perfect Life, I know that. Is it called Perfect Life? Hang on, I'm sorry for fumbling. Perfect World. I got 10 volumes. It was... so much happened. Ending was amazing. I'd really like an epilogue. There was kind of an epilogue. I want a spin-off of their life after the events. Like, I want to see their kid. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna spoil it. They get a kid. Okay, they adopt a kid after some attempts to get pregnant, but it didn't work out. But that's towards the end. A lot goes on, okay? I suggest you read it. Perfect World. I'm not really a shoujo type of guy. Type of person, rather. But for some reason, I really liked this. I read a lot of it at the hospital. I think this has a live action adaptation, if I remember correctly, from one of the author's notes in one of the volumes. I'm seeing a lot of things with the same name, but not not what I'm looking for. Anyway, each volume cover has these two characters together, and then the final one, I believe in the notes they were like, you know, it's gonna be, the author said it's just gonna be these two, and then in the last one, boom, you see a kid in between them. Like, it's so wholesome and cute and sweet. Some of the events that happened are tragic. Especially, I don't understand, like, her father was against them dating. I don't understand that whole stigmatism, that whole, like, the whole thing against, like, oh, you shouldn't date someone that's disabled. Like, that's not your choice, my guy. Like, I get you want your daughter to have the best life, but don't dictate who she dates. And there's nothing wrong with dating someone disabled. I get it can be a lot of work, and, you know, obviously, if you read this, you see how much work she goes through to learn about how to help him. And then, of course, he's gonna feel like he's a burden on her, and there's a whole bunch of romance shit, drama. It's a good shoujo. Give it a read. I recommend it. I want a spin-off. It needs to get animated. I need an anime. The anime will boost it. It needs to be talked about more. Next up, this one is Initial D. This one I knew nothing about, because I haven't watched the anime, but the omnibus finally came out. I have number 2, the second omnibus, in my stack to read. But it was interesting. I know nothing about cars, especially like fucking 90s, like Japanese cars. And the whole thing is a little strange to me. The anime there's one season with like 40 fucking episodes, and the rest have like 20, and then there's a movie, and then there's like this and that, and this and that. I don't know if I'll continue it, but I just thought, I had never watched it or read it before, so I figured, why not give it a shot? It's interesting. The art style, there's a lot of detail to the vehicles, but the people are a little dingy, plain and simple, which is okay, I guess. They look a little silly. I don't know. I guess was a scene, and I don't know how accurate this is to real life, but it was like stories about this scene in Japan where people drifted down mountains and shit. Like, not mountains, but like roads that are like in mountainous areas, in different like fucking tracks and shit. I don't really have any like formed thoughts about this. I mean, I'm not particularly a car guy myself, so none of it really translates to me. Like, it's, you know, it is what it is. I'll give more thoughts when I read the second omnibus. Next up, this was hashtag DRCL. Children of the Night. Yeah, did I get that right? Let me look at my notes. Midnight Children, same thing, DRCL. The art, as always, is stunning, whimsical. It really brings you into this world. The mangaka's take on Dracula is something else. And I'm excited to get more volumes of Innocent. I haven't really been keeping up with manga as of late. I mean, I just finished reading 2 normal books, which will appear in my August log whenever I do that. But other than that, I haven't really been looking at manga. Kind of just been reading what I have and then waiting to see what else is out. But I really enjoy this story. It's really consumable, and because I don't really know the story of Dracula, I don't know how much of this, I don't know like what has been adapted from the book and what has been changed, like added in original content. Like, I know it's based on Bram Stoker's, did I say that right? I don't know, Dracula, but I don't know what is new, what isn't new. I love it so far. Next. Blah 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 blah. Tokyo Revengers. You know, almost nearing the end. I think there are like 2 or 3 more 2-in-1 omnibuses. It's not bad. It's certainly not what it was in the beginning, like the concept itself. But we got to see a dark side of Mikey. You know, you don't let the hate stop you from reading it. However, I will say the art style is pretty good, okay? Character design, pretty good. Battles that are happening, pretty good. This is my first, like, delinquent manga, like, so I don't really think the genre's for me, or, you know, the type of story, but we'll see. Some major events happened. I'm in blind right now. Ever since I'm just in blind. I don't know what to expect. Some of the plot armor is kind of ridiculous. That's what I hate about stories in general. Plot armor. Like, sometimes it's good if the character is at that high of a level. If they've earned it, then it's good. If it's just like pure luck, like main character energy, I hate it. Anyway, next up. This was Medalist, Volume 1. I don't know if another volume is out, but this is a new series that caught my interest. When I saw it announced, I was like, this seems interesting. I don't know much about figure skating or ice skating in general, so let me give it a read. And the art was great. The story is interesting. It's kind of crazy, like, the whole culture around figure skating. I went into it a little bit. Like, how you have to start really young, like, when you're, like, fucking a toddler. That sounds rough. When you're a toddler, you have to learn. Like, that's when you have to start. You have to start really young, otherwise, like, it's uncommon for someone to start late, like, when they're nearly 10 or whatever. 7, 8, 9, 10. When they're around that age, it's kind of looked down upon, like, it's too late for you to start. You're not going to be good. So that is what the character on the right faces. I don't remember her name, and the character on the left, I believe, also did the same thing. Not as young as her, but when he was young. So sometimes I like picking up volumes I don't know about much, like Initial D. I don't know much about cars and whatnot, but I'll pick it up. Maybe it'll teach me something. I like when mangas do that, like Blue Period. It teaches you about different art styles and different art as you're reading, so you kind of get a bigger picture for what's going on. And same with Medalist. It teaches you about ice skating, and it can be very, very it's almost like child abuse to me. If you're forcing your kid to do that, and you're like, oh, you have to do what I couldn't do, so be a big skater, It seems like this is going to be a good manga. I liked the first volume. I don't like gag chapters that are nothing to the story. And one of those appeared in this, and that is, I hate it. It wasn't even called chapter 3 or whatever. It was just a side story. I fucking hate that shit. Leave that for the anime, or put it I don't know. It's just, I don't like that. That's just a pet peeve of mine. Nothing against the manga itself. Art is great, like I said. Story is great so far. I can't wait to read more of it. But yeah, next up. That was all for May. So you're gonna see me slide over here. Look at that. Only 2 for the month of June, because this is when said a family member passed away. And I don't remember. I think I finished my manga off, and I just was I just didn't read. I can't really explain it. Busy with a lot of things. Yeah. This is No Guns Life. Interesting concepts. I read a lot of volume 1s. It was okay, I guess. Not. I guess. I think I'd have to read 2 more volumes, 1 or 2 more volumes, to really see the bigger picture, to really see into it. It's an interesting concept. It takes place in this future. Yeah. The main character is interesting. I can tell it. If I were into this manga, I'd be very curious to learn more about his past, and I think no thoughts quite yet. It was okay. Not bad. Great art. That's why I chose this panel. This panel wasn't one. I was like, what the hell? This was, I was reading this in Medalist and a couple other volumes. Half of the volumes were when my father was in the hospital. The other half were when he was at this care facility. Yeah. Next up, when that came up, there were other people in the room, and I was like, oh my god. Normally, if I see a panel like that comes out of fucking nowhere, I normally hold the volume up to my face, because it's almost like when you're watching anime or a show and a really degenerate part comes up, and it's if you don't want to be walked in on when that part comes up, because people will judge you and whatnot. Then I finished Alice in Borderland. Great manga. Interesting twist. I still really like how the side stories were connected to the main story. If you do that, I love you. I love the mangaka that do that. Make it mean something, Ugh, excuse me. The twist at the end kind of got to me. It was bizarre. It makes you question the whole story itself. I believe I need a sip of water. Opening a bottle fresh. Microplastics in my vein. Microplastics every day. I know this has a live action adaptation but I do not know if what has been changed. I hope they finish the story in the live action adaptation so people get to see the greatness. And I hope it gets an anime or something. It needs more attention. I don't see nearly enough people talking about it on Twitter. I could go to the Reddit, I suppose, but I don't know if it's going to be filled with the live action people or not. That I wanted to put in a starting panel from where we started versus where it ended. I'm not going to show the ending panel, but food for thought. Very interesting stuff. I don't know what I was expecting, not an ending like that, because it was a curveball. It came out of nowhere. And then, like, you really think about it, it makes you wonder a lot. Even though I'm still, like, thinking about the ending right now, like, I'm just kind of puzzled. I'm kind of wrapping my head around it. Like, was any of the experience... Did it actually happen, you know? Like, or was it just a dream? If I say that, you'll never... I don't know. It's kind of like ambiguous. It's open-ended. Endings like that can be good and can be bad. And in this case, I'd say it was good in this case. It was pulled off successfully. Yeah, that was it for June. I think I ran out of manga and I just ordered more and I just waited. July had quite a bit. So I was wrong. Oh no, I started reading a normal book in July. Actually, after I finished Alice in Borderland, then I started reading Dave Grohl's book. It was interesting. It was awesome. I don't regret reading it because, of course, I read Kurt Cobain's book. I had to read this book. Interesting, very consumable. He knows a lot of famous people. Seeing how he started and his learning about his journey and how tough it was something else. I don't really know what to say about this. It's his life. Well, he's not dead, but a good chunk of his life, is in the book. And I liked learning about I like learning about the meaning behind lyrics, like what inspired them, if they're about somebody who is it, like, that's probably like my favorite part about music. Like, I have the Beatles lyric book. I haven't opened it yet because one thing I think I would like to make music. I'd like to write music. I don't think I could do... I'd like to be a lyricist, writing lyrics. I don't think I could do, like, the musical instrument shit. I don't know how to play an instrument, and I don't have a good singing voice. So, yeah. It's just interesting. The whole thing. And learning about Dave Grohl's journey. Like, I know I already said that, the struggles he went through and to where he is now, it's incredible. And hearing his thoughts on certain things that occurred, such as Kurt Cobain's death, and among that, playing at the White House, meeting all these people he idolized, and actually meeting them and becoming friends with them and whatnot. It's so cool to see and hear about. He honestly deserves his success. Like, he worked hard for it. And his mother was very supportive, which is awesome to see. His father was a deadbeat, kinda. Not good with him. What a dick. Anyway. So I randomly got inspiration to read Nijigahara holograph. It's by Inio Sano, and a lot of it is bizarre. The art is great, of course, because it's Inio Sano, but a lot of it is also kind of just like, what the fuck am I reading? What is going on? These are all... It's weird. It jumps from random points. Like, at the beginning, the first... I mean, there's kind of like a prologue, and then it shows you, like, the chapters that are listed, and then so on and so forth. But it'll just time jump without telling you, and it's just one volume with a couple... Okay, a lot of chapters. But that... What... I was not a particular... I like reading stuff when it tells you there's a time jump, you know? Like, oh, we're going to the future. Oh, we're going back to the past. We're going to present day. And it didn't do that. It did not tell you. So you had to make assumptions. I mean, they were obvious, but still. Would I recommend this? If you want to read more Inio Sano and you're craving him, yes, read it. You can very much tell it is him. Of course, I still have more stuff to read by him. I need to read I need to read Demons, Destruction. I need to read that one, whatever it's called. I almost said Dawn. But it's a wacky thing. I don't, honestly, some of it seems... I'm skeptical of how much of it was delusion, how much of it was quote-unquote real in the story. It was wacky. I mean, obviously, I'll give you trigger warnings right now. Their sexual assault was in this. I don't remember if there was... I think there might have been nudity, yeah. It was just a lot. Honestly, I don't know how he came up with the story, but it worked, I guess. Like, it was alright. I mean, the art was, of course, phenomenal. The story was interesting enough to keep reading. And of course, the twists and turns and the toxic relationships and shit was in this typical Inio Sano manga right there. Goodnight Pun, Downfall. I don't think Solanin had it, but, you know, some significant things. Butterflies. The butterflies were interesting. Just wacky shit. Inio Sano, you know, give it a read. If you are craving something and, you know, you don't really know, you're waiting on his next volume to come out of Demons. I think that one's over, actually. I know he's doing a digital manga. Right now it's digital only on the Shonen Jump app or Viz Media app. Same thing, really. Next up, I got it wrong. I had actually read volumes, I believe, 15 and 14 before, and then I finally got 16 because it was out and I've forgotten. But again, you already know my thoughts on those. Blood on the Tracks, by the way. Kaiju num... I am dumb. This was not Kaiju number 8. This was, Snowball Earth. Interesting beginning. Like, I was captivated from the moment I first started reading it. And learning about... I mean, I believe they do consider these kaiju, you know, big monsters, aliens from space. But then, you know, when our main character goes home, seeing how much time has passed, and how he didn't really age was interesting. Essentially, this dude and this robot, they go into space. He's like, it's almost like Gundam, like, or Neon Genesis. It's like, Shinji, get in the robot, except this time, you know, he went in the robot willingly, and, you know, him and the robot were partners and whatnot. Anyway, so he goes into space, he does a mission, goes home after years. It was like almost a decade in space. and he goes back home. The Earth is suddenly in an ice age, essentially. I don't know how it happened, or I guess, we're still learning. I have volume 2 in my stack. The art was great. The whole thing was awesome. Interesting concept. I can't wait to read more. And as you can imagine, since there was an ice age, technology not really there. As far as the naked eye can see, there could be more. Yeah. Give it a read. Volume 2 is out. I don't know when Volume 3 is coming out, or if it's already out. Next up, One Piece. Volume 106, I believe. Yep, 106. Not much to say. It's captivating. It's interesting. I need more now. Seeing Egghead Island being explored is interesting. Of course, I've heard about the most recent feat in the anime, which I cannot wait to witness in the manga. I haven't watched the anime episode, but I've seen clips of the moment in the anime, so I can't wait to read it and witness it for my own eyes, whenever that comes up. Oh yes, got to see some returning characters in action. Awesome stuff. One Piece is great. I used to be a hater, but once you start reading it and you get into it, and you separate yourself from the fandom and read it, and then join the fandom, discuss it, talk about it. That same thing. It's just, I don't interact with the community, but One Piece is so big. Next up, this summer Hikaru died. We're making progress in the story. This was actually a panel. Originally I saw this as a meme. Or the panel, I saw the panel and I was like, what is this from? And then I finally saw. I love seeing panels or origins for memes in media. I just randomly find it. And I'm like, oh, I know that. This is, it's almost, I don't know, because he's not really a human. He's assumed to this boy's form. It's kind of a hints of romance, but not quite yet. Give it a read now. Next up, Oshi no Ko. I read volume 6. I know I've heard some stuff comes up later, and I don't know how it will end up like that, but you can already kind of see the starts of it. He has a sister complex, and she has a brother complex. It's awesome. If you can hear my fan this whole time, that's cool. It's hot. I need it. I need the max win. I believe the anime might have stopped around volume 6. I remember I see this ad for the streaming service for anime, and they always show the previous arc, the theater arc, the live action play arc. So next up, Chainsaw Man. Love this. We finally got to see some awesome fights, and it's so wacky. And Chainsaw Man is one thing I don't mind getting spoiled about, because it's so wacky about how it comes up. And The same could be said for what has happened in this. Yeah. I don't have much to say about it, because it's Chainsaw Man, it's always good. Some interesting things went down in the volume, though. Some interesting fights. The fights, everything about Chainsaw Man is so good. Next up, Undead Unluck. I believe I read 3 volumes? Like 3 or 2 volumes? Like 14, 15, and 16. The final loop has begun. I'm so excited to get more into it for the volumes to come out. It's not talked about nearly enough, honestly. The concept of the power... I've already talked about this a while ago when I first started reading it, but the concept of the powers, the power system and how that works, and now with this final loop stuff, and how that's going right now, it's so, like, boom, like, I always recommend this to people if you're looking to start something new, and that's currently ongoing. The art is phenomenal as well. The fight scenes are great, the choreography and that. I can't get enough of it. Next up, Jujutsu Kaisen Volume... We got to see Maki fight. Volume 22. These don't release fast enough, the volumes, but the fights were cool. Especially seeing Maki grow and the enemy they were fighting. Like I keep saying about anime, like, when these fights and certain scenes get animated, they're gonna blow the internet up. Like Goku in the Tournament of Power arc. But seeing Maki grow, I mean, this was a really cool panel to see. Like, she finally comes to an understanding and is like, okay, let me fight this fucker full on. And also, the returning villain from the Shibuya arc was cool to see. My Hero Academia. Bruh, the way the volume ended, I have the panel on my phone for what's about to happen. Like, I'm so excited to see what happens. I know it just recently ended. The manga did, but... oh boy. Let me say, we're about to get an awesome battle. Like, I've been anticipating this battle since I saw the panel. I hope it's like, it focuses on the battle and doesn't jump back and forth between Deku's battle and the battle that's about to unfold. That would be annoying. Next up, Blue Box. This is a panel from it. They go shopping at a store. And Taiki has some competition for romance. I love this series so much. No complaints. It's wholesome, also heartbreaking at times, and also sports, you know. Not your average romance story, let me tell you that much. Next up, I kind of don't like this arc, this whole superhero arc in Dragon Ball Super. To me, it's not really interesting. It's kind of just like, okay, like, we went from being in space fighting these really powerful fucking people, and then we're back on Earth with fucking Goten and Trunks wanting to be this guy called Clean God, but it's really more like they're like Saiyaman, like one Gohan with Saiyaman. And it's like fairly obvious. I don't know. I don't really like this arc, but we're about to enter the Dragon Ball superhero movie. We're about to start that. phase of the story with Gohan and Piccolo. So I'm more looking forward to that than whatever the fuck this was. Get it out of here. Like, it's cool to see Goten and and Trunks have aged, but cringe. Out of here with that. Also, rest in peace Akira Toriyama. Not your fault, man. This was a panel in a fucking One Punch Man Volume 28. It wasn't fucking crazy. Like, we need Season 3 now. We need to see these fights in action. Like, seeing Tornado nearly at full power and seeing what she could do. Incredible. We still haven't gotten to the fight that I've been looking forward to. Saitama versus Goro. But nevertheless, this battle right here was chef's kiss. The art is amazing. Next up, Dawn to Dawn, like I was just talking about. I read maybe 2 volumes or 1 volume. I love this. I know like 6 anime episodes got leaked, and the intro did as well. And for some reason, they're premiering the first 3 episodes as a movie in select theaters, which is kind of weird, in my opinion. I hate when that happens. But the art was great. We finished up an arc, which I'm glad about. It's like, I love it. It's so wacky. I know it's on break right now. Actually, it should be starting up again soon. Apparently, it's like they've reached the cusp, and now we're going further. Then now we're going further beyond. Yeah. Anyway, Kaiju number 8. The battles are unfolding. The battles are awesome. Different people fighting different things. There's risk. I think it's raining outside right now. But there's risk. There's reward. Action-packed volume. I always look forward. This is another series I always look forward to. Yeah. It was volume 10. Sakamoto Days. Volumes 11 and 12. Again, the choreography is great. This one is from, yeah, this battle occurred, but action sequence is great. I like the action, I like the choreography. However, the story kind of loses me. I stay for the action mainly, and the art, to be honest. I know the anime is coming out for that soon. Next up, I read more JoJo's. I'll be honest, I messed up. I read volume 3 before. This is volume 4. Yeah. This was a panel, because we're waiting for the new moon and whatnot. We already talked about it. Under Ninja finally got volume 3. It's such a wacky series. I love it. Even though I haven't finished a complete series by this mangaka. There's I Am a Hero and that's all I can think of right now. And Under Ninja, obviously. But the art is great. This is great. This is from volume 2, though. This panel. If I cut off 3 dicks, I can become a ninja. The story's wild. It's so great. I say that a lot, but I'm kind of running out of words to describe things. It's original. I know the anime is out. I don't know how good it is. I don't really watch. If I have the manga, I'm not going to watch the anime, most likely. The battles were cool. The new gear was interesting. Next up, Boys Abyss. Back at it again with the trash-ass story, but I can't look away because it's like a dumpster fire and a car crash you don't want to look away from. I read volume volumes. Dirty, 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 dirty. I can't find the notes. Oh, volumes 4 and 5. Crazy shit is happening. We're gonna learn more backstory in volume 6. So I have that in my stack to read. It's one I know it ended very recently, but I'm in it for the long run, for the long haul, until I reach the end physically, because it's some fucked up shit happen. I mean, of course, if you know this manga, you know fucked up shit happens, but I wasn't expecting a certain character to be so manipulative. It's weird. Next up, Chojin X. There was like a 7-hour battle, and we got a time jump. It was only a month, but it was awesome. I read volume 6. I love it. What can I say? I need the anime. I need more volumes. I need it now. Apparently, it releases like they do point 1, point 2, point 3, like 34.1, 34.2, and then they like condense it on the manga. Like they condense it when all the parts are out. According to my knowledge, I could be wrong. Gachiguraka. Did I read volume 2. It's growing on me. The more I read it, I will say I have volume 3 in my stack. Yeah, it's a Gachi Akuta. My bad. It's interesting. I've heard it gets better though, so that's kind of why I'm reading it. Record of Ragnarok. I believe it was just volume 10. 10 I read. The battle between Shiva and the sumo guy ended, and I wasn't really expecting. I didn't have any expectations going in, and the winner was. I'm not mad, honestly. It was interesting. The battling was awesome. The fighting is always awesome in Record of Ragnarok. TBH. Next up, Soul Eater, Volume 14. I love this. I know I'm so close to the end. I can feel it. I can taste it. It's right there, and some battling and some developments have happened, and we're learning stuff. And it's like everything is about to come together. I can feel it. This was that was 14. I already said that. But what was this? Bug Juice? Jungle Juice? Jungle Juice. It was called Jungle Juice. I've already said this before. It's like My Hero Academia, but with bugs. That's the best way to describe it. Not bad at all. It's an acquired taste. Some of it is kind of expected. Because it has to do with bugs, you don't really expect much, but with insects, a lot happens. And then this one, the omniscient reader's point of view, I've heard it's getting an anime, which is cool, but volume 2 was interesting. So much happened. I love this so far. I know there are light novels you can read. Go read them if you want. Unexpected things happened, to say the least. and I'm excited to read more. I won't say too much because I really do suggest you go read it in some sort of form. Next up, Killing Stalking. This was a panel in it. Couldn't find many panels of these two, so that's what you get. Anyway, Killing Stalking, still a fucked up story. I still fucking hate it, kind of low-key. And I hate how things are going. And, you know, it's kind of like Boys Abyss. I'm in it till the end. Like, I can't look away now at this point. But, yeah. Obviously, this one, look up trigger warnings, just like Boys Abyss. And the Inio Sano one. This one, Gannibal, Volume 1. This one is, it just got a physical release, Volume 1. It has a show on Hulu. This was, like, nearly in the first page. That's why I chose this. He was like, your boobs look great. Their marriage is so weird. It doesn't feel like they're in love, you know? That vibe. Not very cash money of them. But, yeah. I need more. It left off on it. It's pretty good. I imagine. I wanted to watch the show, but I'm not gonna fucking pay for Hulu to watch it. Sorry. No thanks. I've heard the show is pretty damn good, and I've heard this series is good in general, so I can't wait to read more. The art style is pretty good. The pages were interesting. I remember seeing a Kickstarter for the hardcover edition. Yeah. Anyway, that was it. Again, sorry it took me so long. I will try and get August done at the end of August. If all goes well. If not, then I'll see you again later. Thank you, bye.